I really try not to learn what books are about, so that doesn't help this video at all. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and today I'm going to be talking about my June TBR for the year 2020. Yes, I do my TBRs and my wrap-ups at the same time, so you notice the setting is the same, my dress is the same. Congratulations! Welcome to the club. I am going to say that in May, I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books, and honestly, I'm tired. I'm not tired of reading, I'm just tired in general, because that's just kind of how my life is right now. I sleep 8 hours, and yet I'm still tired. So I haven't set a huge TBR for myself this month, because what my plan is to at least knock out all of these books and then have some room to allow myself at the end of the month to read what I'm in the mood for instead of being super strict with my TBR. In May, I only didn't get to 4 books that I had on my TBR, which is not bad because I had set myself kind of a ridiculous TBR. I didn't get to my reread, I didn't get to Harry Potter, and I didn't get to 2 sequels that I've been wanting to get to. I did lower the number of books that I own and haven't read yet, which is awesome because I'm really trying to get that number down to 1 basically. So in case you haven't watched any of my previous videos, what I am trying to do is I'm okay with owning audiobooks that I haven't yet read because I know I will get to them, but I'm trying to get all of my ebooks and physical books down to whatever I'm currently reading plus 1. So I technically only have 1 because one of them would be currently reading, but in my mind I think of it as 2. This coming month I do want to knock out a few more. I did also order 2 pre-orders for this coming month, which I will talk about and I will be reading this month. So I was, I believe, at 40 books that I owned before this month, and that includes audiobooks because I don't want to sit and try to differentiate them. I ordered 2 more, so that would have put me at 42, and then I either read or crossed off or got rid of 5, so I am currently at 37 books on my own but haven't read shelf. Kind of in no particular order, I'll just list off the books that I'm hoping to read this month. Right up the top of the month, I am going to be reading A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. So I don't know much about this book except for that it's a YA fantasy that is coming out the first week of June. And I follow the author on Twitter, and the book looks absolutely gorgeous. And I know that it is taking place in like an Africa setting, but in the fantasy world. Let me just say one more time, the cover is absolutely gorgeous. The next book that I hope to be listening to is Forest of Souls. I, again, don't totally know what this book is about, but I think it's kind of like a YA adult fantasy. I like that crossover section. I do know that it's a little bit darker. I've heard people relate it to other books that I have read, but right now I'm pulling a blank on which ones those are. Thanks to me, we know nothing now. The next one I am hoping to listen to is The Shadow Wand. I shouldn't say the next one because these are all coming out at different times this month. But The Shadow Wand, or is it The Shadow Wands? I think it's just The Shadow Wand, which is the third next book in the Black Witch series, which I am really enjoying. I feel like this book series also kind of falls in between the like young adult and adult book series. Oh my goodness, I am loving them. So this world has a lot of magic and fantasy elements. I don't know how to talk about this book series. What I really liked about this book series is it faces a lot of controversial topics such as racism, and especially racism in your main character. If you stick along with her long enough, you're going to see her overcoming that racism. But what's really cool is in the beginning, she's a flat out racist, but towards like mythical creatures. So it's really cool to watch her grow and watch her change and watch everything happen to her. I don't know if this is the final one in the series or not. I kind of hope it's not because I'm really enjoying reading them. I enjoyed reading them so much that I went and read the like novellas that came out. So my reread for this month is going to be Vicious and Vengeful. I'm also hoping to reread The Host, but I'm not putting that on my TBR because I think that that's going to be too ambitious and I can't get to it. I absolutely love Vicious and Vengeful. I've read Vicious 2 or 3 times, and I've only read Vengeful once, so this will be my first time rereading it, and I'm really excited about that. So this series follows Victor Vale and Eli something something. I don't know his last name. There's 2 timelines following both of them. One of them is when they are like best friends, college roommates maybe?
God, they were roommates.
I can't remember if they're roommates or not right now. They're really good friends and they are trying to figure out basically how to become superheroes. And then the other timeline is them being mortal enemies after they've figured out how to become, they call them EOs, extraordinary in this world. Superhero makes it sound like they're the Avengers out there they're kicking butt, but they're not. One of the things I like about the series is, one, it's super duper dark, and two, I've been really enjoying that like magical realism, college campus kind of environment. The next books that I'm hoping to read is Saga volumes 1 through 9. I just finished Paper Girls last month, and I decided to do that on purpose so that I could lead up to something better this month with Saga. I don't know what this one is about. Know that it's going to be a saga where it's a telling of many lifelines and many generations. I know that there's a strong family element. I know that there is a war. I know that it definitely is where sci-fi and fantasy meet each other, but I can't tell you much else. I'm hoping to read the book Legacy of Ash. Now, this is one of the books that I own that I haven't read yet, so I should be able to tell you what it's about, but I can't. So I know it's a high fantasy, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with 3 different characters. 2 are the children of like the king or the emperor who has died. One is the son and one is the daughter, and then I think we're also following the guy who killed the father, maybe? You know what? Just stick around my channel and I'll be able to tell you what this book is about. Next, I'm going to be reading The Wise Man's Fear. I might honestly push it off another month because last month, not in May, but in April, I read the first one, which is called... The Name of the Wind, and I loved it. I loved it so much. But Patrick Rothfuss hasn't written the 3rd and final book, and it's been many, many years. I'm not totally wanting to get into another Game of Thrones series where I'm loving it and then I just have to stop. I've been kind of pushing off The Wise Man's Fears because if I can blame myself for the reason that like, hey, I can't continue on because I am lazy and won't read the book, is a lot better than, hey, I can't continue on because the author is lazy and hasn't written the book, or the author is having issues and can't finish the book and there's nothing I can do about that. But I'm going to get to it because I want to get to it before I kind of forget everything that happened in book 1. It's a high fantasy series following this dude named something, and he is telling this chronicler, I remember chronicler's name, the story of his life in 3 days. So book 1 follows day 1, which is like his childhood and his first few years of college. And then day 2, which will be book 2, I haven't read yet, is I think going to be about him getting kicked out of college and then kind of how he deals with it afterwards. I absolutely adored book 1. I love that kind of college setting, even in like fantastical high fantasy worlds. I love school settings. I love competition. I love that stuff. So book 1 was really good for me. I don't know if book 2 will be as good, but I'm going to have faith and go in strong, believing that it's going to be another 5-star book. So after that, I'm going to be reading, or possibly before that, honestly, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This is another book that I own that I have been pushing off for a little bit because I just haven't really been in the mood for it. But I think this month I'm going to really try to knock it off pretty dang quickly. I think it's following magicians in 1900s, 1800s England, possibly even earlier. Magic had been erased from this world, but now it's back. It's definitely going to be magical realism, and it's definitely going to be old-timey, but not like fantasy old-timey. I'm interested. I can't tell you a ton about it. I know that Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell are 2 different characters, and that one of them is like a teacher and one of them is like a mentee or a student. Next, I'm really hoping to read the 6th Harry Potter. I'm not going to go into a ton of details about that. I've been trying to read it for about 2 months now. I just keep pushing it off because I'm not in the mood to reread a ton of things, but I think Vicious might break that cycle because Vicious is so good. And then finally, I'm going to be reading the graphic novel Nimona, which I don't know a ton about, but I'm doing a video on it, so I'm really excited. My plan is to listen to the audiobook and read the graphic novel, but possibly do them separately from each other. So I might read this book technically twice this month, but I can't tell you anything else about it right now because that's the moral of this video. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you've read any of these books, comment down below, or if you're planning on reading any of them, let me know because I'd love to talk to you about them. And by the time this video gets up, I'll probably have already started at least one of them. I don't remember how my outro goes anymore, but until next time, I'll talk to you all in the comments. Bye!